Hello everyone and welcome to another unit review, and today we're going to be looking at our new special CG unit. Now, quick note, this unit is not limited time despite how it may look. This unit is apparently in the game code. You can use her, or you can use a UOC on her, or hers, I guess, this unit, whatever. But yeah. There's no time pressure on this one. You can definitely get this special CG unit at any time, but it is definitely special because CG Beach Fina and Lid, or Summer Fina and Lid 2018, which is quite possibly just one of the worst names for units we've seen in the game, is actually a pretty damn amazing unit. I'm going to go over it fairly quickly today. So, also because I don't have her 7-star yet, so I'm a little, salty. Just a touch. Anyway, Trust Mastery is an accessory. 3 defense, 3 spirit, 30% MP, 30% to spirit from this accessory. Again, this is a pretty nice accessory. It definitely doesn't beat Primrose's, but, the extra MP on it is nice. Not much else to say. This is just great if you're trying to get the MP mission done. Super Trust Mastery, on the other hand, a 50% bonus to defense, 50% to spirit, and 60% to lightning and water and light resist. This is an incredible materia. Great for magic tanks, great for tanks that like to do both physical and magical protection for the party, and just some nice elemental resistance on it. So absolutely deserving of the title Super Trust Mastery. Now, this is an incredible limit burst. This limit burst is an AoE minus 75% to all stats for 3 turns. That's just generally a very strong limit burst, much in the way that Orange is strong. Not as strong as CG Lid's limit burst, but still plenty enough strong here. Also, it also gives maxed out 100% water resistance for 3 turns. Sorry, 75% is the maxed out. 45 is the base, but obviously you're probably going to max this limit burst out. So, limit burst alone, this unit is more than capable of doing a, just a high amount of debuffing. So, and I believe the crystal requirement is only 28, so it's not that high. You can probably get this thing readily charged. Now, to note really quickly about these girls, my god, do they have a high HP. With literally nothing equipped on them and no stat pots put in, 10,000 HP? For a buffer slash support unit, gotta admit, this is really, really good. Also, very nice, just natural defense and spirit, too. You should be able to make this unit a fairly competent defensive unit between all the HP and the defense and the spirit, plus all the equipment you're going to put on her. She should be pretty tough to kill, and that is valuable for a support unit. Now, this is partially in turn to just how many passives she has, but in her kit, the really big things that I've noticed, just to slide something over on my screen, she does have, some AoE debuffs, which are, the easiest way to put it is, this unit is a combination of some of the things from Fina and some of the things from Lid, but definitely more of the stuff from Lid than from Fina. So, apart from the AoE debuffs that she has constantly in her kit, is the standard debuffs. Now, these debuffs are pretty damn great just by themselves. If they are just used normally, they're a 60% debuff for 5 turns and a 75% debuff to certain elements as well. For instance, this one debuffs for fire and water, which is pretty damn good. Just pretty damn good. But it goes a little bit further than that, because if you use one of her cooldowns the turn before you use this, it then becomes a 75%, or sorry, 74, 75, I thought it was 75. No, it's 74. A 74% debuff for that stat, and then a debuff for 100% for those elements. Now, that is insanely strong. You'll only be able to use 2 of them, but considering how many bosses are break resistance versus something, this is pretty nice. It's just generally pretty nice. She also has ways to give not only debuffs, but also buffs for your party. Like I said, she is a bit of a combination of both units. So here we have, for instance, water resistance for the party for 5 turns, and a 30% physical and magical killer versus aquatic. So that's pretty cool. Gives her a little bit of extra support, and giving killers is nice. Now, one of the more interesting abilities is her ability that gives water, the water element, to allies' attacks for 5 turns. So what's the downside? There's a 20% chance she'll charm your enemies. Now, this is a cool ability. I think it's actually really interesting for just to have a little bit of a cost for doing this. But the thing I absolutely love about this is if we ever see these girls in the arena on the JP side, and they just end up giving the water attack to all of the enemy's characters, and then charm the enemy team. That's gonna be fun. So other than that, she has a whole bunch of things in her kit, including some MP recovery for everyone in the party and MP regeneration for everyone except her. Then continuing on, she just has some, AoE heals and some MP heals, and her 74 MP ability, which is pretty damn strong and still gives that water resistance. And then in her 7-star kit, we get a couple of things. First of all, I should mention that she can double cast a ton of her abilities, so that's a big step up on Lid. But the cooldown abilities are great. One of them, this ability just is a AoE 80% revive for 3 turns, and an AoE debuff of 74% to the enemies for 2 turns. Now it's a 9-turn cooldown, available turn 1, but that's just generally pretty strong to get an AoE revive as well as that debuff. Yeah, just generally really strong. And her other ability, a self 75% HP recovery and an AoE 14 limit burst crystal fill on a 5-turn cooldown, available turn 1. This is also the ability that you use if you want to improve her other debuffs. So this is kind of cool. It's a self-heal for her. She has a ton of HP, so she'll get a lot of value out of this. But she also charges everyone's limit burst. This thing's just great, and Eileen is crying in the corner somewhere. But yeah, she also has a natural limit burst fill rate when she gets into a 7-star and up to level 120. So honestly, I gotta say, I'm incredibly impressed with this unit. Absolutely just 100% incredibly impressed. It is a very, 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 very well-made, well-crafted unit. Now, it also has, of course, its CG limit burst, which is just, I don't know how to say it other than it is pure fan service, and we'll show that off near the end of the review. But let's just go in. We're not going to have anyone else really do anything. So let's start. Oh yes, I forgot. I only have my, unfortunately, the 6-star version. So I can't show everything, but we can show off some of the abilities for now. There's that general heal, HP, MP, as well as water buff. Really quite nice. Here's her MP heal for everybody else. And in her 7-star kit, really her cooldown abilities add a lot more flexibility to her. Let's just show off this one too. Not as exciting when it's not a damage dealer, right? But that's okay. This is a little bit of a shorter unit review. I don't think there's really many downsides to this girl. Her kit is just fairly complete, and it's a pretty neat combination of having both, debuffing as well as support abilities. It makes her just generally really, really good. If I can think of a big complaint about her, it's the fact that Alan basically hid the second version of her either behind a UOC or behind the 5% banner. And as we know, you shouldn't really trust the 5% banner. But if we check out their animations, absolutely adorable, absolutely awesome. If you're looking for a strong debuffer and support unit, this is pretty good. It doesn't have, you know, general stat buffs, but if you pair this unit, I want to say character, but it's two characters. Anyway, if you pair this unit with someone like Aerith, who has a little bit of a buff, or, you know, some other type of unit, this won't be a unit that you can actively rely on, I don't think, for just consistently healing. But on the other hand, maybe you could get away with it, depending on how much damage you are being dealt. But still, fan service. Absolutely wonderful limit burst animation, which has a little bit of humor to it, not just sex appeal. Remember guys, always ask permission before you look. And of course the victory animation, which is just one of my favorite, where Fina finds a starfish, Lid gets nothing and is very upset about it, and Sakura's eating a ton of shaved ice and getting brain freezes. Tons of personality in this unit, so I would say absolutely a giant thumbs up. One, it's just seems like an incredibly well statted unit. For the amount of HP, defense, MP, and spirit that she can have, should be pretty tough to kill this support unit. The unit itself has tons of personality and charm, which I love. Has a nice mix of both support and defense, and debuffing options. I would say that this unit flat kind of is just a great replacement for regular CG Lid, just because the extra stats and a way to actually buff her regular debuffs in her kit too. All of that just makes for a generally stronger unit. If I have some complaints, the support isn't super great, and other than the water element, she really doesn't have that much in the way of buffing skills. But that being said, I could see this unit pairing quite well with someone like Yuna or someone like Aerith. If she had some like just general AoE buffs, it would probably be too strong. So yeah, CG Fina, CG Lid, absolutely love this. Oh, look at my hair. That's cool. Great unit. If you have the resources and you can get it, I duly suggest it, especially if you're missing one, you know, that debuffer role. This is a great one. So that's all for now. I will see you in the next unit review.